Welcome to Isaac Newton's 2030 warning. As a quick recap, in video 1, we revealed Newton's 2060 becomes year 2030 when using the biblical 360-day prophetic calendar per Isaac Newton's notes and studies. In video 2, we examined the Matthew 24 days will be shortened prophecy, now happening in real time. For since year 2020, the Earth's rotation unexpectedly started accelerating, which suddenly is now causing days to shorten. And in this study, we're going to find that an asteroid and a major Bible prophecy converged on the same day recently and appears to support Isaac Newton's 2030 warning. So with this study, it begins. For with this study, and with each study going forward, thunder rolls. We will find, as one good Bible teacher once said, the message found in the Bible is not trivial. It's staggering. Many of these studies will place you on the edge of your seats, and this one will be no exception. The Bible is the history of the world written in advance. Over 25% of the Bible is prophetic. And so far, it's been 100% accurate. There is and never has been any other book in the world like the Bible. This is a powerful way for God to prove He's God. We will prove from Bible prophecies that many of the events which we're now seeing and have seen are the events which every prophet in the Bible warns about. Prophetic events we are told a single generation would one day see, just before the coming day of the Lord, sometimes called the apocalypse, which we are told will catch all who are not prepared by surprise. Yet we are promised that those who are prepared are not appointed to this coming time of tribulation and will be lovingly protected and even rewarded with the gladness, happiness, and peace that surpasses all understanding for simply trusting in God's Word. Yet many will just yawn when it comes to Bible prophecy, and sometimes even bristle at the notion that Isaac Newton's year 2030 warning might have anything to do with us. So because of this, we will turn to the tiny yet explosive book of Zephaniah, who most have never heard of, and listen to what God is persistently trying to lovingly warn and tell us. For this is God speaking to us through Zephaniah. And as noted, his warning is staggering. From Zephaniah chapter 1, the great day of the Lord, sometimes called the apocalypse. Prepare your hearts, for these are the words of God. He then goes on to tell us what will cause this fierce and terrible day to rise upon the earth. God then goes on to answer our question, which is, but why Gaza? Because Gaza shall be forsaken, which can also be translated abandoned. Yes, the exact same Gaza you are now seeing in the world news headlines almost every day. And if you do your homework, you will find Gaza is in the land which was given to Israel's tribe of Judah, as found in Joshua chapter 15. And as found in Revelation chapter 5, one of Messiah's titles is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So they're forsaking and abandoning his land. Also, what most people don't know is that this major prophecy was fulfilled recently, back in 2005, as the world watched every Jew living in Gaza being forcibly removed from their homes and from their land. Gaza was forsaken. It was abandoned. Even those Jews buried in cemeteries in Gaza were dug up, uprooted from their graves, and then removed exactly as God, through Zephaniah, warned would happen 2,600 years ago. Then, what will happen after that? Well, God tells us in the book of Joel and several other places. God warns, I, God, will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Armageddon. And I will enter into judgment with them there on account of my people, my heritage, Israel. They, the nations, have also divided up my land. Did you catch that? God calls the children of Israel his people, and that land his land. So the Bible warns that sometime after Gaza is forsaken, yet before the coming day of the Lord, sometimes called the apocalypse, the nations of the world will begin to unite against Israel and will devise a plan to divide Israel into two states, just as we are now seeing in the United Nations. According to Wikipedia, as of last September in 2025, 157 out of 193 United Nations member states now recognize Palestine as a sovereign state or nation, thus dividing Israel, exactly as prophesied here in the book of Joel. These things, as we are told, will eventually result in all nations of the world turning against Israel, which will one day culminate with the armies of the world marching into the great and terrible battle of Armageddon. In Hebrew, Armageddon means the hill of Megiddo, which lies right in the middle of Israel. You can visit it today. Napoleon once called it the finest battlefield in the world. And it has gained its fame through these following verses found in the book of Revelation. For the book of Revelation goes on to warn, and they gathered them together, all the armies of the nations, to the place called in Hebrew Armageddon. Revelation 16, verses 13 through 16. And now it gets even more interesting. As in the days of Noah, Jesus prophetically draws a comparison between his return at the time of the end and the days of Noah. Jesus speaking. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Matthew 24:37. But what marked the generation of Noah, which caused God's fierce anger and wrath to rise and destroy them? Violence. God describes Noah's generation having two characteristics. It was morally corrupt and it was filled with violence, with the word violence repeated twice. Now the earth was morally corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So God destroyed that generation because it was filled with violence. Now here's what most people don't know. What is the actual Hebrew word used for violence. Hamas, not a coincidence, not a metaphor, the actual Hebrew word. Noah's world was destroyed because it was filled with Hamas. Jesus said the end times would mirror Noah's day. And now the world watches as Gaza, controlled by an organization literally named Hamas, is being forsaken, exactly as Zephaniah prophesied 2,600 years ago. Other interesting things to note: Hamas took control of Gaza soon after Israel withdrew in 2005. Hamas is directed, trained, and equipped by Iran, a nation that also plays a central and major role in end times prophecy. Plus, as we watch our nightly news, we find crowds of supporters all around the world and in America supporting Hamas as they chant their Death to Israel slogans. Jesus is speaking to us here, and note the sense of urgency in his voice. When you see these things, know that it is near, at the door. What's getting near? The exact same things Isaac Newton saw coming. And notice Jesus didn't say when you hear about these things or when you study these things. He said when you see these things, meaning they would be visible, observable, undeniable. We're not just reading about ancient prophecies. We're watching them unfold on the evening news. And we're testing to see if Isaac Newton's year 2030 date holds up to scientific scrutiny. But we're not finished. For now, things are going to get really interesting. If Gaza being forsaken is a major sign, and the Hebrew word Hamas does connect both to Noah's judgment and to Gaza, what astronomical sign might mark this approaching day of the Lord? For Jesus also warns, Jesus speaking, there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. Luke 21:10. While briefing 4 of his disciples on what signs will be given just before his return, Jesus also tells them and us there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. So what fearful sights and great signs from heaven might be approaching if Isaac Newton's year 2030 is correct? And what connection might this or these signs in the skies also have with Gaza? First discovered in 2004, Apophis is a near-Earth asteroid and is roughly the height of the Eiffel Tower. And on Friday, April 13th, 2029, Apophis will pass within 19,500 miles of Earth. To put that in perspective, our television, telephone, radio, and internet communication satellites are more than 22,000 miles from Earth. Apophis will pass closer to Earth than all these satellites. This is so close, the gravitational forces exerted by Earth during this flyby will significantly affect Apophis, stretching and squeezing it due to tidal forces, which could trigger internal quakes in the asteroid and changes in its rotation. The encounter will be so close that many on Earth will be able to watch its approach with the naked eye. This is the closest approach by any asteroid of this size in all of recorded history. Could Asteroid Apophis be prophetically significant? I don't know, but we do need to consider it. So first, let's look at the name. The name Apophis means the serpent in chaos. In ancient Egypt, Apophis was worshipped as the serpent god and as the god of chaos and destruction. He was depicted as a massive serpent representing darkness, disorder, and catastrophe. The scientists who discovered this asteroid in 2004 named it after the Egyptian god of destruction. In the Bible and in prophecy, Satan first appears as the serpent in Genesis, and then plays a major role during the coming apocalypse throughout the book of Revelation. And the end times are described as a period of global chaos and destruction. Let's keep that in mind as we continue. Some interesting coincidences. June 2004, Israel's cabinet officially approves the Gaza disengagement evacuation plan for the first time. June 2004, asteroid later named Apophis is sighted for the first time. July 19, 2005, tens of thousands of Jews gathered to protest their forced uprooting from Gaza, and Israel's government sends 20,000 Israeli troops to stop and oppose them. July 19, 2005, on the exact same day, the new asteroid is officially named Apophis, the serpent. August 2005, within 30 days, Gaza is forsaken. The mandatory uprooting and removal of all Jews living in Gaza officially begins. Coincidence? I've heard the rabbi say coincidence is not a kosher word. The mathematics of impossibility. In order to test Isaac Newton's prophetic year 2030 hypothesis, while using the same rigorous scientific procedures he would follow, let's now calculate the probability of the following 5 prophetic events we have just reviewed happening together by pure random chance. Event number 1, the same day convergence. The asteroid naming and a major Gaza event happen on the same date. Number 2, prophetically significant name. The asteroid is given a name meaning chaos and serpent. Number 3, discovery timing. The asteroid discovered the exact month the Gaza evacuation is approved. Number 4, 2029 approach date. The asteroid's closest approach, 2029, which will be the closest approach to Earth of an asteroid this size in all of recorded history, falls just 1 year before Newton's 2030. Number 5, Gaza prophecy fulfillment. This prophecy being fulfilled during a narrow 58-year window of Israel once again existing as a nation and controlling Gaza after 2,500 years of exile. 5 events. What are the odds? For Anthropic Claude AI's detailed research and analysis, the estimated probabilities for each of these individual events are as follows. Event number 1, same-day convergence. Estimated probability, 1 in 1,200. Number 2, prophetically significant name. Estimated probability, 1 in 400. Number 3, discovery timing. Estimated probability, 1 in 28. Number 4, 2029 approach date. Estimated probability, 1 in 100. And number 5, Gaza prophecy fulfillment. Estimated probability, 1 in 26,550. What are the odds? Well, we'll use the same proven tool used by NASA, top insurance companies, medical professionals, and even casinos. When you want to calculate the odds or probability of multiple independent events happening together, you simply multiply each of their probabilities, which in our case would be 1,200 times 400 times 28 times 100 times 26,550. So, the mathematical probability that all 5 events happen together by pure random chance is this only 1 in 357 trillion mathematical probability would be the same as accurately predicting anything down to just 1 second over 11 million years, or randomly picking up a singly marked grain of sand cast somewhere among all the beaches in California. Which basically means, and mathematically rounds up to, there is a 0% chance or probability that these 5 prophetic events could ever have happened randomly, or by chance, or by accident. Well, there you have it. A pretty compelling case for prophetic fulfillment that could very well support Isaac Newton's 2030 hypothesis. But as I've said before, it's not my job to tell you or anybody what to believe. My job is to simply present Bible prophecies in an easy to understand way, along with methods to actually test these things. Or perhaps provide you with enough meaningful information to help you use just a little good old common sense to decide if these events are prophetically significant, and if Isaac Newton's 2030 warning is one we should take seriously, especially since 2030 is rapidly drawing near. But remember Isaac Newton's words, don't trust anyone's opinion, including mine. Search the scriptures yourself. Verify the data yourself. And if these studies resonate with you, hit the like button, because YouTube uses that to decide whether to expand a channel to a wider audience. And then subscribe to this channel. I'll add new videos as quickly as I can, and if you subscribe, you will receive an automatic notice when each new video is released. You will also find helpful links in the description. And in closing, here again is a short note on my recent book, Isaac Newton 2060, which is now available on Amazon in both paperback and Kindle formats.